Good morning, class. Okay, so this is Unit 4, and we're going to start looking at photo restoration and how y'all can do this properly. So, if you'll go to our Moodle course, and under Unit 4, you can actually just click right here, and it'll pull up our project brief. In the project brief, there's one minor change that I would like to make. Instead of one completed image, I would like for y'all to try this on a couple of different images, unless you use obviously the really torn up image. But try this on a couple of different images to make sure you have one very well done restoration to turn in. Okay, so y'all can read over that on your own time. Let's look real quick in Photoshop. So here's our Photoshop, and I've decided to try restoring this image. The process is very similar to what we did in the last project, where we can use our clone stamp and we can use our spot healing and healing brush tools. So first off, I want to actually take my clone stamp and start looking at some of these different areas. A good place to start would be right here on her dress. I can start over here on the right side and really just start taking some information and restoring what needs to be here. So this area was flat looking, so I'm going to try and add some of that flatness. I'm looking at the ripples in her skirt, and this is very similar to the last project in the fact that we're going to continually be clicking and taking information to another area. So say right here, I can click and I can bring this information down here and I can just pull it over. And that's really good because it's actually making this ripple in the fabric happen. So I went too far on that one, so I Command Z, Control Z'd it, or Edit Undo. Keep in mind it's very important to make sure that it doesn't erase information that's already clean in there. So you can see how this actually has kept the ripple in the fabric right along this area here. And again, I'm just using the clone stamp, so first I'm just putting information. Next I'll start blending it. And same with this area here. Take the back of the skirt, bring it down. Can get rid of some of that there. Do it again, further down. And so on and so forth. So you have to make some of these choices and decide where like the blending will occur on your own, because obviously we don't know exactly what this photo looked like before, but we're going to try to make it look like it hasn't been edited, if that makes sense. So that's a good start there. We can get rid of more of that information in here. Same with this line here. And we can even look at her arm here. So again, I'm replacing information. That's the name of the game. These are pixels. That's what the little squares are. I know that you already know that, but to reiterate, these are just pixels. And the goal is to make the pixels appear to not be edited, but at the same time use the fact that the older photos are slightly pixelated, slightly blurred out, to where you can actually make it a little bit easier to make it look like it's not been edited a little easier. So Sorry, it's hard to talk and think at the same time whenever I'm doing something like this. Okay, so far she's a pretty good start on the left figure here. I'm going to stop the video at this point and do a little bit more with the clone stamp, and we'll come back and work on blending it further. So I finished doing a little bit more work on the left lady, left chickadee. So you can see kind of where we've come, and this is all clone stamp at this point. So I removed the white line down the side, I got rid of this down in here, and all of this was just with the clone stamp. So now I'm at this point. I thought that we should take a look at, well, a couple of things. First, this is a photo restoration example that I got off the internet, so I want y'all to Photoshop out if there are watermarks on the images you're working on. Secondly, some of these areas are a little bit more tough, like this area here, and so I wanted us to kind of work on that together. So first I want to come in here, and so we can see the hand is missing a finger, and so first I want to actually come in and try and clean up the way the purse is, this little clutch or whatever she has, and then come in and try and add in this finger on top. So I think that doing something like that, see, getting rid of that line, I think that that would help in that case. But now I want to come in and actually fix the finger. So I can do that in two different ways. I can take skin color from over here and try and match it up, not the exact same. I can do the exact same with this finger here, try and get it to be aligned, and that's actually not so bad. But I think that the angle is more of like this one here. So I'm gonna try to add a finger there. I feel like it looks like it's two. So maybe take some of the color away. Come back from the other side with the darker color and kind of carve away the shape. Yeah, that's not so bad. Something like that. And again, pixels, these are very small pixels. So it's, I mean, zoomed out, it looks normal. That's the key here. I need to finish off the tip of the finger though, so I'm going to take this one and add in just a little detail right there. And then I can actually start coming in and getting rid of some of this line the rest of the way. Something along those lines. So that's handy. I might actually just kind of simplify that area a bit. And you can see this is all like kind of my decisions. I don't know exactly how that looked. And again, only the clone stamp is being used currently. So now I'm just coming in, kind of cleaning up some of those areas. Maybe. Unless I make it more muddy, which is not the goal. Then come in here, take the edge of her jacket and try and get rid of some of this information. And so you see, I matched it up and I'm just carrying the information as far through the jacket as I can. Again, clone stamp, I'm replacing information. And that being said, I'm replacing the information so I can come back and edit it with the blending tool in a minute to make it where it doesn't have these repeating patterns quite so much. I feel like I need to do this one more time, maybe through here. And through here. So we're pretty close to being ready to start actually blending. The last bit of information I feel like that needs working on is the rung of the chair on this right side. So this area right here, it seems hard, I realize, but really we just need to find an area on the chair like right here that is curving correctly. And if I can pull this information up here, I can just replace some of this information. So again, it's just catching where it needs to be edited. Very cool. Now I'm going to pause for just a minute to make sure I didn't miss any other little extra areas that need a little work, like maybe right in this area here. And then after I touch those up, we'll be back and we'll blend for just a few minutes. So here's the photo when we first started, and here's after I've clone stamped it. You can see that I've come back and I've cleaned out like the word and cleaned up the railing and all of the scratches I could find for the most part. I did leave the minimal scratching behind. That's always something you can come back to and do more of later, but for what we're doing, I think that it's fine to leave it. So I'm going to first use the healing brush tool. I want to come through and I want to actually look at first the patterns. There's some places like right here where you can see the edge of where I used my clone stamp before. Then I need to blend in. There's some other little areas too, like in the purse area over here, that I need to blend in better. And it's always make the brush smaller, make it bigger, choose another area, and continue on. So there's this repeating pixel pattern here and here. That's because I took information from up here and pulled it down to here. So what I want to do actually is remove both, because both just kind of look bad anyway. So I'm taking information, I'm just replacing it by using the healing brush tool. And it's content aware, so it's actually figuring out what is in the background and moving it to the foreground, and blending the two together. So for instance, if I pull this information, and it's content aware, so if I pull it and kind of blend through here, it actually will blend it rather than just replace the information wholly. So again, with this area, and I'm just trying to make her dress, it was discolored at the bottom, I was just trying to pull some of that information in. So something like that, where it makes it look more accurate. And that's pretty much how you do it. You are just going to continue working by pulling information from one area and blending it with the others, just like we did in the last demonstration. And just make sure that these repeating pixel patterns are removed by the time you're finished with this entire project. This is what I have after I've blended all of these different areas and after I clone stamped. You can see that in this region here I found this little bead pattern that she had on her jacket, and so I repeated it, but otherwise I feel like it's fairly well blended. And so here's the before again and the after. I'm really pleased with where we went from our restoration's original photo to the clone stamp to the final. So have fun with this. I can't wait to see what y'all come up with. If you have any questions, let me know and we'll work together to get it all figured out. Thanks, guys.